Hello, this video is for IXL Activity A1.I.1. It is titled Write Variable Expressions. The 3-character code for this activity is Delta 7 Kilo. So in this activity, we're going to be given an expression, and we have to write that expression out using numbers or variables or operation symbols. We're going to be using some parentheses. I think we're going to see some exponents in here. So we have to read the expression and then put that expression into a mathematical statement, you might say. So divide 5 by D, or B actually. 5 divided by, or divide 5 by B. So in this case, every fraction is a division problem, right? So 5 divided by B. The numerator is what's being divided, and the number of groups that it's being divided into is the denominator. So for IXL, you can type in, actually go back, you can type in 5/B and hit enter. On the next one, write an expression for the operation described below, V less than U. So a lot of people might jump on this and say V minus U. Well, this is actually U less than V. So let's think about what are we starting with. And actually I want a bigger eraser there. There we go. So what are we starting with? Well, if I said, let's think of it this way. 5 less than 7. So if the variables seem to be somewhat confusing or kind of throw you off, then go ahead and actually plug in numbers there and see how it would work out. So 5 less than 7 would be 2. Well, that means I would have to have 7 minus 5 in order to get 2, correct? So let's go ahead and instead of saying 5 less than 7, let's say V less than U. And then now we realize the U comes first, subtract the V, so it'd be U minus V. On the next one, add U to 7, then subtract 2 from the result. So we're going to need parentheses in this situation so that we can let it know what it needs to do first and then what to do afterwards. So the first thing we want to do is add U to 7. So let's go U plus 7. We're going to use some parentheses to hold that there. So the order of operations would say you have to do what's in the parentheses first because that's what they're telling us to do first here. Then subtract 2 from the result. So this is subtraction. We're subtracting it from the result, which is what we did back over here, which is adding U to 7. So we're going to subtract 2 from the result, so minus 2. The next one, raise the product of H and G. So the product of H and G, that's H times G. Now I could do H times G, but I don't really need that dot there. Since these are variables, I can just put those next to each other, and we realize that that is multiplication. And indeed, product is what we get whenever we multiply two numbers together. So raise the product of H and G to the 5th power. Now be careful, if you just put raise to the 5th power, this would mean that the exponent of 5 only applies to the variable G. We want it to apply to both H and G. Actually, it's telling you to first find the product and then raise it to the 5th power. So we're going to need some parentheses here, because now that exponent of 5 applies to both the H and the G. Without the parentheses, it would only apply to the G, the value that it follows. Next question, divide S by T, then double the result. So let's divide S by T. Well, every fraction is a division problem, so we're going to divide S by T. Now we need to double this. Well, let's go ahead and put it in parentheses so that we would do the division first and then double it. Well, that would be times 2. Now you don't have to put the dot in this case. We could get rid of the dot, and as a matter of fact, we could even put the 2 out here on the front side. 2 times the quantity of S plus T. We have to divide S by T and then multiply it by 2, which would be indeed be the act of doubling it. 666, so that means multiply by 3, right? We're going to multiply by 3. Then add K to the result. So let's first go ahead and 666. So we're going to do 3 times 6. Now, should you write 18? No, because it says do not simplify any part of the expression. So we actually want to put down 3 times 6. And we'll put that in parentheses. We're going to triple 6, then we're going to add k to the result. Well, add is addition, and the result of what we did back over here at first. So we're going to add to that the value of k plus k. So we have 3 times 6 plus k. Subtract 6 from k, raise the result to the second power, then multiply what you have by 4. Okay, that's a bit much. So let's go ahead, go at it piece by piece. Subtract 6 from k. So let's go ahead and we start with k. K is what we're starting with, and we're taking 6 away from it. Be careful about what order you put subtraction in there, right? Raise the result to the second power. So here's the k minus 6. We're going to raise that to the second power. And then multiply what you have by 4. Well, we're going to need parentheses again, or brackets, either way. IXL is going to let you use parentheses inside of parentheses, or you could use brackets, either one. And then we need to multiply all of that by 4, and we can put the 4 at the beginning. Now this, if you were to look at this, how would you solve this? Well, you'd have to do what's in parentheses first, and you'd have to subtract 6 from k, which is what they tell us to do first. Then after that, you would have to raise it to the second power. That'd be raising it to the second power. And then you would have some answer inside the brackets in which you'd multiply all that by 4, which is what they ask us to do on the tail end. Now, whenever you enter this into IXL, you could type in 4. You could use a bracket, but you could actually use a parenthesis here for this bracket. Then another parenthesis, k, that's not a k, that is a 6, isn't it? K minus 6, parenthesis, exponent. And whenever you do exponents, there's a little button down here you can click in order to put your exponents in on IXL. And then we need another bracket here. So I strongly encourage you to go ahead and write this out on paper first and then enter your answers in. I suppose that if you were to try to do it as you went along and work through it, you could go, okay, subtract 6 from k. You could type in k minus 6. Raise the result to the second power. You realize, oh, okay, I need parentheses. And so you'd have to click your cursor in here and put a left parenthesis there and a right one here. Then you'd have to click the exponent button here and put in the 2. And then multiply what you have by 4. Well, then you'd have to click in here again and put the other parenthesis here, the 2, another parenthesis here, and then you'd have to either click back over here and put in the 4 on the end, or you could put, or on the beginning, or you could put it on the end. Either way. But my advice is to work it out on paper first, on scratch paper, and then you can just type it in as you see it on your paper that you worked it out on. Raise d to the 4th power, double the result, then multiply what you have by 9. All right. Let's go ahead and raise d to the 4th power. So we take d and raise it to the 4th power. Double the result. So let's go ahead and put that in parentheses and put a 2 out here, right? Doubling the results, multiplying by 2. Then multiply what you have by 9. So let's put another set of parentheses here and put a 9 over here. Now if we work from the inside out, we would go d to the 4th, which is what they ask us to do first. Then we would have to multiply it all by 2, which would be doubling the result. And then we would have to multiply everything we have by the 9. Raise a to the 6th power. Divide the result by the sum of 9 and b. All right. So let's raise a to the 6th power. A raised to the 6th. Divide the result. So what's being divided is the numerator. So we need something at the bottom here. Divide the result by the sum of 9 and b. Well, sum means addition, correct? So we're going to add. What are we going to add? 9 and b. That is our denominator. 9 plus b. So this is raising a to the 6th power, then dividing the result by the sum of 9 and b. And you don't really need parentheses here because the rule for working with fractions, which a fraction is a division problem, is that you have to simplify the numerator as much as you possibly can. Then you have to simplify the denominator. And then once you've simplified the numerator and the denominator, then you can go ahead and handle the division that's represented by the fraction bar there. So technically, a numerator and a denominator are kind of like in parentheses of their own. The order of operations demands that you deal with the numerator and the denominator before you handle that division there. Next is add t and r, subtract the result from u, then multiply what you have by s. And this is indeed our last problem. So let's add t and r. T plus r. Subtract the result from u. So let's go ahead and put it there together so we have it do that first. We're going to subtract the result from u. So that means u is what we're starting with, and we're taking away the quantity of t plus r. Then multiply what you have by s. All right, I need all of this, and then I need to multiply it by s. So I need to put parentheses again and hold all that in there, and then we're going to multiply by s. Again, you could put the value s on the end. I just think it's better to put it on the beginning. Either way, we're going to work from the inside. We're going to add t and r. Then after we do that, we're going to subtract that from u. And then after that, we're going to multiply everything that we have from there by the value of s. So this matches up with the statement. We've made our mathematical sentence to match up with the expression there. So that completes all of my examples for IXL A1.I.1 Write variable expressions. Good luck with your activity.